manage those, like add and remove them, which I don't think we're going to get to tonight, but I do have a blog entry about how to do that. But enable social bookmarks, we're going to show you what that looks like. Alright, so now when I go click on my title, at the bottom of it, I got all these neat things where I can go click on it, and I can send it to .NET Kicks, or I can send it to live bookmarks and so on. Alright, with one click it sends me to where I need to go, and I can go submit this and maybe go into Delicious like you see right now and so on. Alright, that was the second most popular feature in the last release, is that besides the SEO URL. Alright, but once again, it's not very user friendly to go change that. You have to actually go and touch a little bit of, there's an XML config file and a JavaScript file you have to go touch in order to make that happen. Right. So any questions on that demo that I almost messed up? No? Okay. The next one is also a demo that I'm probably going to mess up. Alright. We just saw posting to the blog using the web interface, but this gets better. If I open up Windows Live Writer, we're going to be able to do this a lot better. A lot easier. We were talking about plugins as a feature with DNN. Some of the stuff just on the DNN page, like tag clouds not already in there, those are things like with third-party modules you can already put in there. So the DNN site itself works as a plugin, kind of like WordPress does for its blog engine. Now, when we start to use Windows Live Writer, there's going to be some cool stuff that we can do with Windows Live Writer that also has plugins. Right? You're going to be able to do cool things with images and code snippets and stuff like that. Things you can't do in the WYSIWYG editor we have on the regular website. All right. So when you see blogs like mine that might have like a Polaroid-looking picture, no, I didn't go to Photoshop to do that. I'm too lazy. Right? I use a plugin in Windows Live Writer. When you see my code snippets, I think I submitted one today. Yeah, there's one here. No, I didn't do that. That's Windows Live Writer. Right? So a tool like Windows Live Writer, I've used quite a few and I've blogged about them recently. So far Windows Live Writer is heads and tails above everybody, and they still have a way to go in order to get to where I really want them to be. Alright, but it's really the best tool out there. Like for instance, in my I got this Scribefire, I think it's called, another blogging thing where you can connect to your DNN blog. You can connect to your DNN blog many different ways. You can even do it through email. Alright, which we're not going to demo today.
How do you get Live Wire?
Windows Live Writer, it's a free tool from Microsoft. So Windows Live Writer, you just do search on it, the first link, and no matter what search engine you go to, Windows Live Writer is going to be right there at the top.
Actually, you get it if you do, if you just go through the regular Windows update.
Well, yeah, if you go through the Windows Update and enable your live tools, it'll be one of the checkboxes you can enable.
We call it Windows Essentials.
Huh?
I think it's in the Windows Essentials tab.
How do you access it so you can put stuff on the blog?
Oh, that's what I'm about to show.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so that's all this formatting here I did through there. Alright, and it's much cleaner than using something like Word, which you can use to post to your blog. Which you should not use to post to your blog, alright? Don't ever. Alright, if you don't know, the Windows Word will add a whole bunch of extra markup that you'll never see to the naked eye. But yeah, that'll just tear up your search engine rankings. And then formatting, if you change anything in your skin or your CSS, who knows what will happen. Alright, and you're going to be sitting there looking at, why is that line purple and the next one's not? It's the same paragraph. All kinds of stuff will happen. Alright?
Being developers, we can always use Visual Studio.
That's true. Alright. I was trying to keep this not so techy. But, alright. Oh, so you can see in my blog, I did customize these social bookmarks down here. I didn't like the little icon for Kick It, and I wanted to add the Pimp This blog to mine. So, you can do that stuff, but you have to once again touch the config file. Alright. Alright, so here's Windows Live Writer. I can add as many blogs to it as I want. I have a whole bunch there. You can see I've categorized my own blog. Alright, I have a bunch of things that I might talk about.
How did you get there?
I'll show you. Alright.
I'm glad you asked
guy,
that.
give me your raffle ticket. No, alright, so I just opened it up, and for all intents and purposes, we may not have ever added a blog here. So the process you go through here is the same as if you added 1 or 100, okay? The first thing we want to do is when you open it up, actually when you first open it the first time, I think it opens the wizard by default knowing that you don't have a blog, but I don't remember. But anyhow, if you already have one, we'll go to our blogs menu item here and click Add Blog Account. Alright. We're going to end up going back to our blog though in a second. I'll show you why. Now, the first thing he wants to know is which blog service do you use? We're using another one, because we're obviously not in Windows Live Spaces or SharePoint, alright? And we don't want them to create one on Windows Live for us. We want to use DNN, right? That's why we're here. Alright, other blog service. So we're gonna click next, address your blog. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what you put here, but I usually just put the root of my site. Oops. Actually, in this case, it'll be localhost one. I don't know if I typed all that.
Can I ask a question? What does Megan use?
She uses Blogger.
I use Blogger.
Oh.
I'm taking notes right now, so I'm
Okay.
texting it to myself.
Here, I'm gonna log in as myself, or as the blogger. So that's what you'd be doing too. So we're gonna go back to where we were, if the demo had gone in order. Alright,
So I can use this on the ODUG site?
I don't know if we have the blog module installed on the other site, but if you're interested in adding content, talk to me.
Okay.
Because I do have room for content and ideas. Alright, so as a blogger, something I really should have went to first, just to make this look logical, is go into our blog settings. Something I didn't talk about, but I just scrolled right over because I knew I was coming back to it, is we got the meta weblog options. There's not really any options there, but you do have this URL that's very important to you. That URL will be unique to every single blog module you put on your site. Now, that being said, it's not going to be unique to every single blog that you add to that particular module. So you saw me add a child blog. If I had logged on as somebody else and came back to the same page and added another blog, it's not going to be unique to that. This could be unique to the tab ID. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And now this address for a blog, I'm going to put that there, but I could have just put the root of my website. But here's the important part. We need to put, oops, not in all caps, but we need to put our login credentials that we log into DNN with. Alright? And I always choose remember my password because otherwise it'll come back and ask you every time you post a blog.
Is this going to communicate by a web service with the DNN site?
Yes. Alright. So we're going to click next. We just put in that address that we found over here in our blog settings. Alright. And then we put in our credentials. We click next. Now it's going to go try to hit it. I don't know why it does that, because it's supposed to go ahead and skip this step if it can determine what kind of service you're using. So we always have to do this anyway. Alright, we have this, doesn't know which kind of blog we're using, so we need to select our blog provider. What we're using is the Meta Weblog API. That's basically a standard that's used around the blogging community to be able to communicate to your blog from other tools, such as Windows Library. So once again, we're going to paste that URL we found before. Alright, click next. Now it gives you a list of the blogs that you're able to hit. Which one am I going to post to? So I'm going to have to create a connection for each one, which, you're displaying it differently. There's no sense in not displaying it differently here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose pure CSS skinny. Next. Now, something that usually happens here, but on this particular machine it's not working, is right now it's going to go and hit your blog and pull your CSS, and that way when you're writing on here, it's going to have the same styles that you use on your website, so your blog's going to look very similar. Alright? Unfortunately, this machine, I broke that somehow. So I'm going to say yes. What it's going to do is it's going to post a entry to your blog, and it's going to delete it in order to pull that CSS thing. So right now it's going to give me an error any second, which I never used to get before. There it is right there. It says, hey, I couldn't get that CSS thing, sorry. Okay. At this point, you can give it a blog another nickname. So if you want to change the name, that maybe you don't want the category name, or maybe you're in many different blog sites. And you want the blog site name before the category, those type of things. This is where you would make that a lot more readable, and you can change that here. So I can put maybe localhost. That'll make that look a lot better for me. And then we can switch this blog now. All that's going to do is change the drop down over here in the top corner, if you can see where the mouse is. Alright, so that way when I start writing, it'll automatically write to that blog instead of having to go choose it. Pardon me. So if I had to go choose it, I come over here and say, I'm not writing to this one, I'm writing to entertainment. I'm not writing to entertainment, I'm writing to this one, and so on.
So once you set it up, then you just use the drop down up there to switch.
Yep. From this point forward, that blog is always going to be there until I tell it not to. Something else I've done here is I went out to the Windows Live Writer site. I did a search for Windows Live Writer plugins, found the Windows Live Writer plugin site. There's a ton of plugins out there that help you do really cool things.